Hi everyone, Diane here. It's day 10 of the Joy of June challenge, daily challenge that we've been doing, and today I'm going to be painting some clematis. This is a variety that we've managed to keep alive, and it's called, the variety is Texensis, and that's one that has 4 petals spaced out like that, and these little green leaves. So I just looked that up, so now I know that that's what we have. Anyway, I'm going to do a painting of this, and I've done some practice work today. I've tried it out, just in case you're interested, on hot press paper and cold press paper. And there we have the two side by side, slightly different effect. You can see how on the hot press paper the colour actually stays on the surface more, so it's kind of brighter. It's worth knowing about. And this one is on cold press, and obviously because it's got all the texture, it kind of sinks in a lot more, and you paint it with a slightly different technique. So anyway, I'm going to be doing it in my little book here, my paint on book, which is really mixed media paper. It's not necessarily either hot press or cold press, but it has very little texture. But I have been doing it, I have been using it all the way through so far, so I might as well carry on until I run out of pages. And then I'll have to turn around and come back and paint on the other side. But for today, I'm going to do something slightly different. I'm going to paint across the middle, just because, why not? And I'll show you what I'm going to use in the way of a brush. Today I'm going to use this, which is a quill brush. I finally managed to remember the name of it. Quill brush, because it used to be made with a piece of the quill from a large bird, I think a goose was most likely, which was put here on the shaft of the brush to hold the hairs in place, and then bound round with wire to hold it tight. So that was kind of the prototypical sort of brush that was made, apparently. Anyway, Meeden have just started selling these, and they've got several different sizes, half a dozen different sizes. You can buy just one, or you can buy a set. I think they have 2 sizes of sets. I think they had a set of 3 and a set of 6, something like that. Anyway, they're very reasonable prices. They've totally knocked the bottom out of the market of the Isabey brushes of this style, which are made in France, but which cost literally hundreds of dollars now, because they're made from animal hair. But these are synthetic, and they work really well. So if you fancy a quill brush after you've seen me using it, you know where to go. Meeden, don't forget, they've got sale on at the moment, and they're doing an extra 15% off for you if you put the code Diane15 in. So it's a double discount, so to speak. Now, to do this painting, I'm going to wing it. I'm not going to do any drawing. And I'm looking at my little colour scheme here. I'm going to use blue violet, which is the darkest purple that's in this set, mixed with a little bit of black, just to darken it up a bit more, because if you just pick up the violet, let me pull that down so you can see it. If you just pick that up, you can see that that's the colour, okay, which is, I think it needs a little bit of black in it and a little bit of red. So that's what I added. I added this red, which is crimson, and then I added this dark violet. And don't be too concerned if you can't get to the exact shade that the one that you're painting has. You know, just pretend that you had a different sample in front of you. Who cares? It's actually quite a hard colour to achieve. I think that's probably close enough. It's got quite a lot of red in it, actually. So I'm mixing up plenty of this here so that we can add a bit of that. Yeah, I think that will be okay. So that's the only colour I'm going to really use. Let's see how it goes. And let's get started. So if you use one of these brushes, you can see it has a very fine point on it, and you can make the most of that by starting in the centre of the petal and just bringing it out into a petal sort of shape, and you can pump a bit of colour in there, and you'll probably get all sorts of backgrounds and things, but we don't care about that really. We just try and keep it nice and loose. So we're just smushing the paint in like that. And this one's going to come down here. And we put a bit more in so that it goes a bit darker. Just let it drop. This is a completely different result from what you get if you use cold press paper. So we're going to put another big one down here. Start off with very little pressure and then just press down to do the petal. And they come quite close in the middle. And we're going to have to let them dry so we can put the stamens, whatever you call them, the filaments in the middle in. They're quite nice, aren't they? They kind of go out in a kind of star burst kind of thing. So we let that dry a bit, and I'll just water the paint down a little bit, and I'm going to put a few in the background. And down here perhaps, just lighter. Maybe have indication of one in the corner, perhaps. And then I'm going to clean my brush and rinse it out. I'm still using the same brush. We'll pick up some green. Might need to mix a bit more. I'm using here the apple green, which is this one here. Plenty of that, and then mix that with olive green to give us a softer kind of green colour. And you're going to pop quite a bit of water in there, and you can sort of dry out your brush a little bit by tipping it against the side of the little dish there. If you feel more comfortable using a smaller brush, do, but I just thought it would be nice to play around with this quill brush and see what happened. There we are. So we're just going to put leaves in various places. So remember what we're doing, we're making a design. Here's a leaf that doesn't join onto anything, doesn't matter. And in a minute I'm going to put the hairdryer on it. Put some more dark in the middle. And when I put the hairdryer on it, it's going to blow the paint around quite a bit, and we'll get some interesting effects then too. So I'm going over again with another layer, smoothing out some of those irregularities. And I think what I'm going to do, once this is dry, is to do line work over it, not like the ones I did. I didn't do really line work on this one, and I didn't do any on this one. And so these are nice in their own way, but this one, being on totally different paper, and this kind of does illustrate to me and to you as well what a difference the paper makes. Completely different. So I'm going to dry that again, and then I'm going to come in with my Suke brush, pen, and do some good strong heavy lines on top. Okay, so here we have the Suke Tombow pen, which is a hardened soft pen. Press hard, you get a thick line. Press lightly, you get a thin line. And we can now, again, hold the brush or the pen halfway down to give yourself something of a loose look to your lines. And we're going to get a completely different effect to what we have on those ones I did over there earlier. Okay, and you can correct your shape of your petals using the pen. Press hard and soft. Don't follow the line of the paint. It's best if you go off-piste, so to speak. Okay, we go to this one now. Let's put the stem in and the leaves. Now, anyone can do this. This is not fine art. This is just doodling, really. Could call it reverse colouring if you felt like it. That's where you put the colour down first, and then afterwards you do the lines. And this one here. You could say they're kind of stylized, if you know what I mean. So we'll go for the white pen now and do our starburst in the center. Just draw lots and lots of white lines. Probably go around twice. And then if you do that, if you go around twice, you should be able to make it white enough in the middle to be able to put a drop of yellow in there. And I'm going to use one of my brush pens for the yellow, because it does have yellow in the middle, just like that. I'm going to do the same over here. One thing I have found with these white pens is they do work better on smoother paper, and they work better if you don't press too hard or go too fast. You have to be a little bit patient. Got a little bit of yellow in the middle as well there. And so that's basically it. I might put a bit more white on these ones on top of the black. Oh yes, and I've got a purple colour here, so we will do a bit of lines using that to give the shape. Of the flower petals. So the ones I showed you at the beginning, these two, basically I painted them exactly the same, and the difference in the result is because of the paper. So you need to be very aware that the paper will react differently depending on what you put on it. And I'm just demonstrating here that if you use these watercolor pens like this, you can get the paper to behave completely differently. Okay, so you might not want to have that effect, but it works too. And if you don't like the blotchy effect that you've got from putting watercolor on smooth paper, then you can always go over it like this. Now, because this is a sketchbook, it doesn't matter if the painting isn't perfect. No one's going to care, no one else is going to see it, but you've had fun doing it, I hope. So here we have a whole entire bush of clematis, and we've gone over 2 pieces of paper there to give a nice spread. So I hope you enjoyed that. And I think I like the first one I did the best. And that was on hot paper, Meeden hot paper. But I also like this one too, which is on Meeden cold. So it's not finished, by the way, that one. It isn't finished. This is one I might do as a full-blown tutorial at some point in the future, so keep your eyes open for that. And I will see you again tomorrow. Gosh, what a lot of clematis. Bye for now. See you soon. Bye-bye.